Yeah. Hmm? We're live. Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Ayodeji Badon. So, wait, direction. Okay. My name is Ayodeji Badon, and this is another amazing Monday morning. Okay. This is another amazing Monday morning, and as usual, we're coming live to you to discuss our Monday morning talk. And this morning we're discussing prepare to discover you. And if you read my post last night, how I came about this topic, I was planning to start a, a series on book publishing. But on our way back from church yesterday, I was having a conversation with my wife, beautiful conversation with my wife, and I told her something about myself that I only discovered lately. And she shocked. She was shocked herself. We've known each other for like 18 years, and I've known myself for more than 3 decades, almost four. Uh, and I still couldn't discover this part of myself until only about 2 months ago. So it made me to realize that I have to be humble enough to know myself and to prepare myself to discover more. So she insisted that that's what I'll be sharing this morning, and that is what I will be sharing. So permit me, I want to confirm that the audio is coming out clean. Okay. We've known each other for like 18 years. Fantastic. This is good. I will also be sharing to my group. I'd also be sharing to the Spring Doctor Africa Training Center. Then I'll go all the way. That the audio is coming out clean. Okay. So this looks good. This looks good. Okay, thank you. Wherever you're watching me from, please, I want to know where you're watching from, and if you're catching me live this morning, I want to know if you did you catch last week's video. It was phenomenal. The feedback was amazing, and I really appreciate all those who caught the replay. It's always going to be available on my wall, and I want you to let me know if you can see me. Thank you. I think I have 4 people watching. 4 people watching me right now. Thank you. So this is going to be amazing. This is going to be an amazing time because I'm sure you will find yourself in this picture. This is me. I mean, I couldn't believe that this, that there is something about me that I've not found out. So I'll start with a little story. I'll start with the story I shared last night about my cousin's father, who used to tell us many years ago that you guys are always around one another. I mean, we're always together. We had this ministry, evangelistic ministry. We were into preaching. We were into singing. We had groups, subgroups. We went to a cappella. We went to general music, and we're all over the place, all over Lagos together. And their father, would say to us, "We don't know if you guys are brothers yet. You yourselves do not know if you people are really brothers yet." Um, okay, as of that time, it was talking about when you guys get married, that's when we will know if you guys are truly brothers. It means you guys don't know one another. You guys don't even know yourselves yet. You don't know yourselves. You don't know one another. So it's impossible for you to really understand one another. If you don't know yourselves yet as individuals, you will not be able to know yourselves in the future. And of course, who you people get married to will determine if this relationship will continue. And it was correct. It was correct. Not just about the marriage, about self-discovery. All of us started to discover ourselves. After a while, it was no more a general group thing. It was no more a general group thing. Um, we eventually, I don't know, started picking one another in twos like that. So life happened to everybody. Our conversations changed. Some remained in active ministry. Okay, let me say all of us remained in active ministry, but in different ways. Some in music. One of us became a pastor. One is an assistant pastor in a big denomination in Ibadan. Everybody just split, and we moved on. So I think it's only myself and another of their family that are still in touch, like regularly in touch, talking all the time. And this is the reality of life. Now, the second story, which made me to choose this topic, and my wife insisting I shared this morning. About 2 months ago, I was driving in Lagos, and typically, you will hardly. I don't want to be immodest, but typically, you will hardly find anything wrong with my car when it comes to papers or whatever it is road safety says we should have in the vehicle. Um, the safety gadgets, fire extinguisher, whatever it is, use of seat belts. I'm always a compliant person. This is me. You would never catch me. In fact, for my tinted glass, I drove all the way to Abeokuta to get the permit. I registered it online. Whatever it is the government says do. I'm never the type that overlooks compliance issues. But 2 months ago, something happened. I was driving in Lagos and something just told me, you know, something just told me and said, you see, if you commit any of those offenses, let's assume that I refuse to show my papers to the police. I refuse to have, what is it called? I refuse to have fire extinguisher. I refuse to do any of those things. Exactly what would be the fine? And I estimated everything. I said 25,000. I said, let me commit one today. So what's the big deal? I mean, what's the big deal? How much is 25,000 naira? Like, let it go. Let it go. And I shocked myself. This is not me. This is the spirit of my account balance talking. This is not me. The funny thing is, as of that time, I have had much more. I've had much more in my account balance, and I never allowed that to enter my spirit. I never allowed that to enter my spirit. I never allowed that to affect me. But suddenly, something came up. Something came up and, excuse me, was telling me stuff. It was almost unbelievable. I began to understand, excuse me, why the children of the rich, why the, excuse me, why the children of the rich sometimes misbehave. I began to understand why children of those who do not work hard but but have a lot of money, have access to a lot of money, why they do what they do. It was almost unbelievable. It was almost unbelievable. But how did I uh, escape? How did I escape? How was I able to overcome this? Now, that's not as important as the fact that something strange happened to me. A discovery that I never thought in my wildest dreams. If anyone told me that I will one day be moved by the value of my account balance to take a decision or to think, of course, I didn't decide, I didn't act on it, but that it will even cross my mind to break the law just to see How much do these guys want to even collect? How much? Now, it put me on alert because I began to realize that I have not even discovered myself fully yet. I saw a video online when this man, I've forgotten his name now. It was with Pastor Matthew Ashimolo. When I remember his name, I'll mention it. And he was talking about you discovering yourself when you are able to fund your sin. Like if you're broke, you cannot consider yourself a faithful husband. If you're broke, you cannot consider yourself a faithful Christian. If you're broke, you cannot consider yourself a faithful family man, because the likelihood is that I'm not saying that this is the truth or that is the case for everybody, but the likelihood is that you are unable to fund your bad character. You are unable to fund your sin. You are unable to fund your evil intentions. That's why you are considered faithful. So just imagine someone who only has the maximum he ever had was 200,000 naira suddenly has an account balance of 200 million and the whole money belongs to him. It's profit from a business. Knowing fully well that with 200 million naira, there is almost no sin that you cannot fund. Do you get it now? That is when we will know if this man who was considered a faithful man is truly faithful. Is it because you cannot fund your sin? That's when you can truly discover who you really are. When you get to that glorious future that you desire, when you get to that amazing point, your business flourishes, you get promoted to the peak in your career, and you are able to fund, you are able to afford whatever you want. You can easily take a girl from Nigeria, take the girl to Qatar, be with her for 7 days and claim you are in a meeting and your account balance will not even shake. Yet, you refuse to do this. That is when you can consider yourself as faithful. So, what did I do? The first thing was that I went back to my original value. If you look at the picture right behind me, it's talking about how to live by value and virtue. Now, what was my initial reaction? What was my first reaction? My first reaction was to ask myself, does this glorify God? Now, the problem is not money. You see, one of the things that make people to misbehave when they find or when they make a certain amount of money is that they were not ready. They were not ready. If you are not ready, if you're not ready, you will not even know how you will react in certain circumstances. You will not know how you will react. The first thing I did, and I want you to pay attention to this, I don't know what yours is, but I went back to my root. All of this happened in split seconds because your falling or your failing will not take hours to happen. It's going to happen in such a split second that if you're not ready, you will find yourself doing things you never thought. Because look, I was not far from a traffic stop by road safety FRSC guys. So if I was not ready, if I did not react, if I did not get myself under check quickly, I will have carried out my intentions. I will have told them I don't have fire extinguisher, I don't have this, I want to know exactly what the fine is and I want to see how much you guys want to collect that I cannot afford. And that was, I will consider an evil spirit trying to reveal a part of me that I had never found earlier. So the first thing I did was to ask myself, does this glorify God? Yes, I can afford it. Does this glorify God? If I'm fined 25,000, is it not better to give it to to give that 25,000 naira to a homeless person, to even if I share the 25,000 naira among my staff, it makes more sense than giving this money to pay fine just to prove to myself that I have money in my account. I mean, the question I asked myself, does this glorify God? And I said, this does not glorify God. I already know this does not glorify God. That's why I take all the pain. There was I made a trip to Ibadan some weeks back, and it was only when I got to Abeokuta that I found out that my fire extinguisher, I had it in the car, it's always been there, nobody ever touched it, I never used it. But something just asked me to check it. I found out that the fire extinguisher was already on red. I aborted the journey. I mean, that's how meticulous I am about things like this. I aborted the journey and started searching Abeokuta till I found a replacement. So that is the true me. That me that wants to just commit a traffic offense, just to please ego. That was not the true me, but it was a me that wanted to emerge. Listen, there is a bad you that wants to emerge at every point in time. The question is, will you allow the bad you to emerge? There is a part of scripture that says there is nothing good in me, and it's absolutely true. There is a part of you, there is a bad guy within you that will emerge if you do not have. Now I'm going to get into the crux of the matter. If you do not have your values properly defined ahead. And the first thing is this: you need to get ready for the future you seek. There is a mental preparation. A lot of us, like when we were younger, we want to be stuff. We daydream a lot. We daydream and we talk about I should just find 2 billion on the ground. How many of you experienced that? Like, so I'm just going like this. I'll just see 2 billion on the ground. We're coming back maybe from rehearsal, choir rehearsal in the night. It's just like you see in the Yoruba movies. You just kick a bag and then you open it, you just realize that thieves were running. And then they drop the money. It was 1 million naira. And you just carry it, and then we become very rich. Now, those things, those thought patterns, if you look back, I don't know if you are still experiencing it. There are some adults that are still experiencing it anyway. Those patterns make you to realize that there is a you that needs to be discovered. There is a you that you need to prepare for. And that you is not the same you of today. It is the you that is in the future you seek. So if for any reason, of course, you're not in control of your future, you can do things, you can prepare, but you're not in control of the results you will obtain. But then it doesn't stop you from dreaming. If there is a you and there is a future that you desire, the least you can do is to prepare for that you now. So there is a future that you can afford to travel the globe. You can buy global citizenship. I think I had that in Malta. It's about $100,000. How much is $100,000 now? Maybe that's 40 million naira or something. Or somewhere it's 100,000 euros or something. You can afford that. You can travel to 180 countries without visa. Imagine that is the future you seek. The possibilities are that, and we have seen many people do this. January this year, the first social media scandal was about a billionaire and his girlfriend in America. So, and the lady releasing pictures and all of that. Now, the you that can afford to travel to 180 countries without visa is able, as a guy now, is able to afford any girl of his choice, right? He's able to do things where your family are not. You can go as far as Indonesia and do stuff, and your family will never get to know. It will never even get to social media. Forget it. There are more things happening than what is on social media. There are more people committing atrocities than you will ever see on social media. So the question is not about getting caught. It's about, can you even do it? Start getting your mind ready. Start getting your mind ready. There is a you that will have enormous power to destroy people's destinies, to ensure that people don't grow in business. You can have people around you and ensure that even though you are rising, they never get to rise. You have enough power to arrest people, especially if you're in Nigeria. You have enough power to arrest people without them committing any offense, because you have bought the area commander, or you have bought the commissioner of police for your state. You imagine you having such powers. The question is, what values will you live by? Will you do this? So imagine the future you seek, and then what will be the you? A lot of people, before they get into position in Nigerian politics, before they get into government position, um, they are humble, they are nice, they are very approachable. But the moment they get into power and they realize that if they sneeze, for example, as governor of Lagos State, if he sneezes, 20 million people will catch cold. There is a sense of power that comes upon you. And it's an evil spirit. It's an evil spirit. That's what came upon Nebuchadnezzar. There is something that, if you are not prepared, that's what I'm saying, that you need to start highlighting, and that's where I'll round off, the values that you stand for. Now, a lot of these politicians are not ready mentally. They were ready financially, they were ready with regards to skills, but in terms of values and virtue, they were not ready. Suddenly, as governor, you can do whatever you want. You can be the rising and falling of many. The question is, what if you were not, what values will you be living by? And if you're not ready for this, you will find out that you will do stuff that in the night you will wonder, is this same me? Like, no, this is not me. This is not the me I discovered 2 years ago. This is not me of last year. This is not me of inauguration. On the day of inauguration, you thought you knew yourself. Then you got into the office, and all those okay, let me use the right word. Those bootlickers, there's the bootlickers. Around government emissaries, there are a lot of bootlickers. They will say you are the best thing ever, and then the next person comes, they will tell the person you are the best thing ever. Your predecessor, they told the person you are the best thing ever. All they are after is interest. But these things will get into your head. You will think that you are the next King Kong. The question is, by what values will you live? And listen, if you get into that future to create the values, you already missed it. If you became governor before you decided to create the values by which you want to live, you already missed it. That which you're going to become, let me see if there are people watching us live. That which you're going to become, that which you're trying to do, if you do not do it already, if you're not ready for it today, you will find a different you tomorrow. So listen, what I'm saying this morning. Thank you everyone who has been watching. I'm grateful. To create the values by which you want to live. Thank you from Lagos. Thank you from Lagos. Thank you from Ibadan. I'm grateful. Okay. So now, if you do not create those values, if you don't create those values now, decide. I decided that I wasn't going to do this, not because I couldn't afford it, but the question I always ask. That's why sometimes people think that I'm inambitious, I'm not very pushy about some things, because once it fails the test of will this glorify God, once it fails that test, it doesn't matter what financial value is attached to it, it's gone. It doesn't matter what value is attached to it, because that's the basic, that's the bottom line for me. I don't know what yours will be. I don't know what yours is. But whatever it is that I have to do, and I put it on that scale to say, does it or will it glorify God? That's the end. If it is yes, I go on it. If it is no, that's the end. Okay? So that's exactly what I believe is called value. You look at yourself. Define exactly what you will be standing by. Apostle Paul said, I have learned to abound and to abase. That means I have learned to live in luxury. I've also learned to live in penury, but nothing changes about me. Okay? So, the question is, what are those values that you will be living by when you enter into the future that you desire? That value, you have to obtain it right now. That value, you have to decide it right now. It's not something for the future. It's not something to be talked about later. It's right now. Okay, so I'm supposed to spend only 30 minutes every Monday because my morning meeting starts at 10 a.m. Thank you so much for everyone who has joined us. Do we have any questions or any contribution? I'm watching to see if we have any question or contribution. Okay, none for now. Thank you, Olarewaju Paul Toby. Thank you, Barnabas Odwin Donald, for watching. Thank you, Michael Ibadan, for watching. Thank you, Busayo Fatuki Ibadan, for watching. Those are my people from Ibadan. Okay, I think I've come to the end of this. If you don't take anything away from this video this morning, please remember, prepare for the future you desire. Now, or else you will discover a certain you you never saw coming. That you is a bad you. All right. My name is Ayodije Ibadan, and I'm the founder of Print Dr. Africa, the first print-on-demand book publishing platform in sub-Saharan Africa. With over 350 dreams completed in just about 2 years or less, you are always in the best hands. That's your book project, give it to us, and you will never regret it. So I'll see you again. It's a work week. I hear it's public holiday in Nigeria. We don't understand that at Print Dr. Africa. We're always working. Thank you. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. Bye-bye.